Is this thing on? All right, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Cinema House. Episode number 2 of this new project. Last one we did was about a month ago. I'm hoping to not go one a month. I'm hoping to do a couple more a month, maybe twice a month. We'll see how that goes. For now, there's no plan of how often these are going to come out. Honestly, I want to make sure I have enough enough things to talk about, and that way I'm not forcing topics. And if I try to do it weekly, that might start to happen. Might start to feel like I'm just putting stuff out there just to have something out there, and I don't want it to be like that. I want to build up a good amount of topics before something comes out. So this is episode number 2. The first episode we talked about the Golden Globes. We talked about Lord of the Rings. It's been about a month since that first episode. Not too much has happened. I actually have been a little lacking in going to the movies. We haven't gone to the movies as often as we're used to going. Different things. I was out of town for a little bit. Then we had a huge ice storm here in like the DFW, different parts of the country really, but specifically here. My daughter and I went to Disney World a couple weeks ago, and we flew back. The snowstorms probably started around Friday while we were still over there, and we flew back Sunday. And luckily, the flight wasn't canceled, nothing like delayed, nothing. It just surprisingly we were able to get back on Sunday morning, and then we took an Uber home. There was no one out. Surprisingly, there were Ubers available. So we got from the airport. We got home. I didn't want, like, my wife was at home, but I didn't want her driving in the snowstorm. So we got an Uber. No one was out on the streets. Streets were empty. Streets were iced over, snowed over, and stuff. But we had a good Uber driver who was careful and kind of had experience driving in that type of situation. So it was good. We got home. We were home Sunday at about noon, between noon and 1 is when we actually got home. And then that whole week, so like the snow and the ice came Friday, Saturday. We got back Sunday, but the snow didn't melt till about Wednesday, Thursday. So from the moment we got home Sunday, the next day my daughter was supposed to have school and go back to school on Monday and everything. She didn't have school that whole week. She didn't have school Monday through Friday. School got canceled every single day. From the day we arrived, they canceled it for Monday, and then every day after that, they would just cancel it, for the next day and next day until she ended up having a whole extra week off. She had already been off for the couple of days that we were in Florida, and then she got to have a whole extra week off, which she loved. That was awesome for her. And then I got to be off work for the next 3 days, so I got home Sunday thinking I was going to go to work Monday, but then work was closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I had to go back to work on Thursday and Friday, but that still was awesome, getting to come home and just having some days off where the whole family was home. My daughter didn't have school, my wife didn't have work, so the three of us were just home, kind of relaxing and just being lazy, not being able to go anywhere really. And luckily our power didn't go out or anything like that, so we had power throughout that whole week. But anyway, so yeah, so there was no way to even go to a movie or something. Obviously, we saw some movies at home, but nothing too exciting. Like I think the last movie I went to the theaters for was I honestly, it might be like, here, I'll check. It might be It might have been the Stranger Things thing on New Year's. I think that might have been the last thing that I actually went to the movies for. Let's see. Oh no! So on January 17th, I went to go see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Okay, that's the last time I went to the movies. Um, I'm not gonna talk too much about that movie. That's not in the topics that we're gonna get into today. But that I enjoyed that movie. I went into that movie not having any knowledge of any of the movies before, like 28 days later, 28 weeks later. I've never seen any of those movies. It's not really. I would say it's not really my cup of tea. I've never really been intrigued by that franchise. But for some reason, the trailer of the Bone Temple just kind of really, really, really caught my attention. So my wife has seen all the other ones. So she was like, "Are you sure you want to go? You're not gonna know what's going on. Like, you know, I don't want you to go and not enjoy it because you have never seen any of the other ones." But I was like, "Yeah, I'll go try it out. I'll go see it." And she loved it, and I loved it. Again, not having any kind of context of previous stuff, but I thought it was a great movie. Um, yeah, and then after that, just no movie theater after that. Just I've seen a couple movies. I'm looking. By the way, I'm on letterboxd, which is how I keep track of everything that I see. If you want to follow me on letterboxd, my name on there is Jesus Hollywood. Just all together, Jesus Hollywood. Um, I saw The Goonies. I saw Disneyland Handcrafted, which is a new documentary it's on YouTube and it's on Disney Plus about how just a bunch of footage of how shows Disneyland getting built. I saw The Rocketeer. I saw The Burbs. A lot of 80s, 90s kind of movies. I was in that kind of space for a little bit there. Then my wife has been watching all the Marvel movies like leading up to Avengers Endgame. So I didn't she did a lot of that while my daughter and I were out of town. And then when I got home, she was kind of wrapping it up. So I got to she was on the way to watch Endgame. And then that's kind of where I came in and was like, I'll watch that with you. So Avengers Endgame. I watched The Muppets Take Manhattan. I finally watched Tron Ares. I rated it a 3.5 out of 5. I actually, this is a movie I wanted to go see in theaters. I really, really, really wanted to see it in theaters because I knew even if the movie was bad, which is what I was hearing a lot, that it was not a good movie, I still wanted to experience it in a theater for the sound and the visuals and the sound effects and just the kind of like the maybe watch it in Dolby for this. I know like the soundtrack was good. I think Nine Inch Nails was involved. I wanted to see it like that, so that maybe if I didn't like the movie, I would still enjoy the kind of like the cinematic event of what that movie is, it looks really cool, right, and the imagery and stuff. But so I saw it at home, which is not the same, obviously. But I kind of enjoyed it. I'm a little confused about whether or not I think it was a good movie or not. I don't know why there's just so much expectation and hype over these movies, but then there's kind of like this like consensus. There's this letdown and this kind of disappointment. But I don't, if you don't go in with that much expectation, then the movie just kind of delivers in a solid way, I guess. Like not, it's not a masterpiece by any means, but there's something kind of intriguing about it. There's something interesting about it. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I have kind of a soft spot for movies that are like huge disappointments like that. Like I want to like them so that I can kind of have their back and support them. That's what happened with Madam Web a couple years ago or 2 years ago or something. Everybody hated that movie, and I kind of like wanted to like really like it. And again, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. But I do think that there's some movies that just get more hate than they should. I thought this one was just a decent movie. I think what goes into it is like I don't know the budget for it, but I think it's because it's set up as this huge movie, grand movie with a huge budget. Then I think that it's supposed to deliver in that way. So it's supposed to make the money back, and if it doesn't, then it's kind of a flop. But it was just a good movie. Do I recommend it? You have to enjoy, those types of movies. And then if you do, then I would say, yeah, I would say watch it. It's not a waste of time. It's not. There are some movies where you dedicate the 2 hours to it, and then you're like, well, I want my 2 hours back. I don't think it was the case. This was well, no, actually, I know it wasn't the case at all. Um, yeah, it was fine. And then the last movie I saw was Lost in America, the 1985 film Lost in America with Albert Brooks. Never seen that one, and yeah, I liked it. It makes me want to go into kind of the Albert Brooks filmography and check out. I've seen some, but kind of see the ones that I haven't seen. But Lost in America is cool. Yeah, that's if you haven't seen Lost in America, I do recommend that movie. Um, and yeah, that's been it. How did we get into? I was talking about how long it's been since I've been in the movie theater. Um, yeah, I guess it's been since the 17th. I guess it's been almost a month since I've been in a movie theater. It's been 3.5 weeks. So yeah, it's almost a month. Yeah, I got to get back. I'm gonna try to get back this week and maybe talk about some films that I went to go see. There's four movies at least that I'm interested in that are coming out this weekend. Today is February 11th. Today's February 11th, 2026. There's a couple movies that are coming out this Friday. Crime 101. And that, well, not these are the movies that I want to go see. I'm saying there's several that I do want to go see this weekend that hopefully when we do the next episode we'll talk about. But I want to go see Crime 101. I want to go see Wuthering Heights, which my wife got to go to a screening for it the other day, and she loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. But a lot of times, it's hard for her to hate something that she's already. Which I'm the same way actually. If you're already going in knowing that you're gonna love it because of the cast or because it's in this case a book that you already love, it's kind of hard to go into it with a mindset other than you're gonna like it. So I don't know if she loved it because it is what it is and it's Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi and she loves the book, or if she actually thought it was a good movie, a good film. Um, but she loved it. She thought it was great. So we'll see. We'll see what everybody else thinks once it's actually out this weekend. Um, I I'm not prioritizing going to watch that movie. I think I will end up seeing it at some point, but I don't I don't know that I will like as a priority. But hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Wuthering Heights, Crime 101, which I want to go see. Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, uh, Chris Hemsworth. I would see Crime 101 before I see Wuthering Heights. I want to go see that. Um, what are the other two? I know what they are, but one of them is Goat, and I was saving that for the end because that's an animated film. I want to talk about that one. The other one that I want to go watch that comes out this weekend is it's got that long title. Good luck, have fun, don't die. That is probably my number one movie that I want to go see this weekend. Um, it just looks fun. I like the cast. That cast, it's got some of my favorite people in it, and it looks fun. And it's also I think the trailer kind of leaves. I don't know if there's been a new trailer, but the trailer that I saw it kind of is very mysterious. It looks like a really fun movie, but you don't really know what's going on. You don't really know what causes that whole like kind of chaotic, just whatever is going on in the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it. So I kind of want to see what the movie's all about. It just looks like a fun ride. That's my number one movie that I want to go see this weekend. I'm hoping to go see it. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Um, and then Goat is the other one. Goat is an animated film, but it looks good. I like the animation. I think it's the same people that have done the Spider-Man. Sorry, I thought. Sorry, I got a little shaky. I think it's the same. I think it's the same people that have done the Spider-Man movies, the Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and those Spider-Man films. I think Goat is are the same people that have made those films, and it looks good. It's not usually uh, maybe the kind of movie that I would go see. I do like animated movies. Obviously I love Disney movies, and I'm not against seeing an animated film, but I'm not a huge basketball fan. I like basketball, but I'm not the biggest basketball fan. And the movie is it's a basketball movie. It's got different basketball players doing different voices of different characters. But I think it's going to be good. I've heard good things about it so far. I think that the movie is just going to be a nice, good animated film with cool animation. So if anything, I'll go watch it because it's got the cool animation. So, and plus, that's always an easy movie that I can go see with Penelope, with my daughter. So that's an easy one that's something we can do together. So yeah, those are the movies that are coming out this weekend. That hopefully maybe I'll get to knock out two of the four this weekend somehow. The other one that I haven't seen that's already been out for a couple weeks is Send Help with Rachel McAdams. That's another one that I still have to go see. That I really want to go see. That's also, I think I've heard good things about it too. I think it's doing well, and I think it's being reviewed pretty good. So, um, but yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about. Let's see. I've got some notes here where with some of the topics that we're gonna get into today. The first thing we're gonna get into is my most and this is kind of the main topic of today. It's my most anticipated films of 2026 because this is the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first episode still came out in December. So this is the first episode coming out in 2026. So I do want to talk about the most anticipated films of 2026. I did obviously some I knew off the top of my head. Some I've already had in there, and I've already had in my mind that I've been looking forward to some for several years. Um, and then but I still had to do like the proper research of like, okay, maybe a movie got pushed back, maybe it's not coming out till 2027, or so I had to make sure. So I looked at everything, and this is my final list. I'm going to start with an honorable mention at number, I guess technically number 11. I'm going to put Street Fighter. Street Fighter, I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm anticipating it just because the cast is there's a lot of people in the cast that I like. A couple wrestlers. Andrew Schultz is in the cast, which will be funny and interesting to see. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Um, it just looks fun, Noah Centineo. I like adaptations like that where you've got actors that just people that just taking a certain look, like an outfit, and they're the way that they look, it's adapted into something that's like an animation or a cartoon. In this case, the Street Fighter characters who are legendary. I mean, who I think everybody has. If you haven't played Street Fighter, I think everybody at least knows some of the characters from that game. That game is classic. It's a legendary game. I've definitely played it a bunch growing up, so I know the characters. I'm not the Street Fighter nerd fanatic, number one fanatic, but I definitely know who the characters are. So I think it'll be cool to see which you already know what they look like because the trailer's already out and stuff. But I think it'll be cool to see it in a movie. So I'm excited for Street Fighter. Number 10, I have Dune, Messiah. And the reason why I have that one so far back is because I didn't see the Dune movies until recently. Um, I maybe that'll move higher up the list as the year goes on. But right now, if I'm being honest, it's my number 10, which is still still in my top 10. I still am very excited, and I think it's going to be a great movie. But I would be I wouldn't be honest with myself if I would put it higher up because I haven't been the biggest Dune fan because I haven't, so far it hasn't been a movie that I've been like, I have to go to the movie theater to go see it. I just recently saw the first two, maybe less than 2 months ago. So, and I enjoyed them. I liked them a lot. So obviously now this one, the third one, I will go see in theaters. But I have it at number 10. Number 9, Disclosure Day. Um, I'm just interested to see where that movie is gonna go. It's another one where like the trailer is intriguing, but it's you kind of going in blind. You don't really know what. I mean, you know what it's gonna be about. Probably aliens or something, but there's something there. I want to know what the disclosure is. What is he disclosing to the world? There's something there that's hidden from us in the trailer, and I think it's gonna be a fun movie going event. Number 8, Toy Story 5. Um, I think Toy Story is a classic animated Pixar Disney movie. I think because there's been a little bit of a gap, have they made too many Toy Stories? Maybe. But really, they kind of don't fail. Toy Story movies are just always good. There's better ones, obviously. There's, the first one is like a super classic, maybe the best Pixar film, maybe one of the best Disney movies of all time. Are the rest as good as the first one? Probably not, but they're not bad movies. Toy Story 5 will probably deliver. Number 7 is The Hunger Games. I think it's called Sunrise on the Reaping. The trailer looks awesome for that. The cast is also amazing. I'm more excited for this Hunger Games than the last one that came out. 6, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. 5, Mandalorian and Grogu. A lot of people seem to be kind of hating on this movie, like it's not going to do well, like it's not going to be good. I have it at number 5 because, for one, I'm a big Star Wars fan. This one is one that I will go. I will try to get in on a screening, or I will go, opening night. Um, Again, mainly because I'm a Star Wars fan and I love the Star Wars universe. I love anything that's in the Star Wars universe. Um, and there hasn't been a Star Wars movie. I haven't been able to go see a movie, um, a new Star Wars movie in theaters since 2019, since The Rise of Skywalker. I did go see, sometimes there'll be re-releases, and you can go see other ones. Like last year, I went to go see Revenge of the Sith, and that was cool. I didn't see that movie in theaters. I'd only seen it at home, so it was cool to get to go see that in theaters. But a new Star Wars film, this will be the first one in a while, so I'm excited simply for that. The fact that I'll get to go see something Star Wars in theaters, something new in 2026. And I think the Mandalorian show has been a great show. Yes, I know that season 3 was not as good as the first two, but the Mandalorian show has was a good show. The first season was great. First season, I don't think people were expecting it to be as big as it was. It kind of blew up. Obviously, Baby Yoda, Grogu blew up, and merchandising and all that. Um, but I think that people are saying that, this movie is just basically going to be like a longer episode of the Mandalorian show that already exists. So it'll be like watching an episode that's just a little bit longer and seeing it in a movie theater. You know, I I don't know. Maybe that's the case, but still hope maybe it's a really good episode and we get to go see it in theaters. So regardless, I'm excited. I have hopes for it, and I hope that, I hope that people go into it not expecting much and thinking it's not going to be as great, and then they're pleasantly surprised, and it ends up being something really good and kind of redeeming, and people go and see it. But number five, Mandalorian Grogu. Number four, Project Hail Mary. My wife recently got me the book, so I'm hoping to read it before the movie comes out. Um, I'm excited to read the book, and I'm excited to see the movie. Project Hail Mary is at number four. Number three is The Odyssey. Don't have to explain that. I think The Odyssey speaks for itself. It's gonna be amazing. Number two, Avengers Doomsday. I think I've talked about it in the first. I don't know if I talked about it in the first episode or not, but I'm not the biggest Marvel guy. But up until recently, I haven't been the biggest Marvel guy. But Doomsday, I'm so excited for, because there's gonna be so many things mixed into a movie. You've got the classic Avengers, but now you've got um, the Fantastic Four. You've got the Thunderbolts. You're gonna have X-Men, and then you've seen all these little trailers come out of, Steve Rogers will be back, Thor will be back. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a crazy event, and people are gonna go crazy. And I'm excited for that vibe in the movie theater of just people like reacting to the different stuff. And I hope the movie's good. It's actually supposed to come out the same day as Dune. So, uh, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And at number one, this is a movie I heard about a couple of years ago. I heard that it was going to be happening, and then I found out who's going to be playing the main character. Uh, and I was happy with that decision. And it's one that I've. There's two movies that I've. I guess I'll kind of reveal a little bit. There's two biopics that I've really, really wanted them to make. When they started kind of remaking a bunch, like Bohemian Rhapsody, the Elvis film with Austin Butler, the Elton John movie that came out. There's been that kind of new wave of biopics, and there's been two. There was the Bob Marley one as well. There's just been a bunch. And there's been two that I've really, really, really been like, dude, I hope they make these two. They would be great if they did. One of them was Bob Dylan. They made it. Timothy Chalamet killed it. Did great. I love that movie. It's my favorite movie of 2024. Um, and the other one is a Michael Jackson biopic. Michael Jackson, if he's not my number one favorite artist of all time, he's up there. I can't say he's influential in my life, because I'm not a dancer, I'm not a singer, but he definitely influenced, and kind of, yeah, he influenced a lot in from like in my childhood into my adult life. He influenced the kind of music that I grew up listening to. My parents showed me Michael Jackson, and then I kind of grew up loving pop music. Um, from there I've gotten into different things. When my daughter was born, I played her Michael Jackson, and she loved Michael Jackson. In fact, her first ever concert, her first ever like event like that I took her to was when she was just 2 years old. I took her to a Michael Jackson kind of tribute show, and yeah, it was just me and her, and she was two, and she got to go on stage. He let all the kids kind of go on stage, and she went up there, and it's one of the coolest like that I'll never forget that night. It's one of the coolest memories I have of her being so young and so little, and kind of being on a stage with a Michael Jackson impersonator. And yeah, I mean, Michael's music is means a lot to me. Obviously, I think he's a legend, and I think he's number one. I think he's the king of pop. I think he's the king of music. I think he's, I'm just very a huge a big. I've always been a big Michael Jackson fan. And so I've always thought that a biopic, a well done, new, modern biopic would be awesome with the things that you can get away with now as far as like sound quality, picture quality, effects, Michael being the entertainer that he was, you know, he needs that production value to get that biopic looking and sounding the way it should, and I think that it looks like it's going in the right direction. The trailers have come out, and now I'm even, if I was excited before that they were just making one period, after watching the trailer, it's just I think they're going in a perfect direction. I think it looks amazing, perfect. I think it sounds great. I think Jafar Jackson, who's playing Michael, who is his nephew, by the way, I think he's going to do an amazing job, and I think he's going to get a lot of the credit that he deserves because he's put out music before that kind of hasn't gone anywhere, um, which I liked actually when I listened to it and it came out. This was maybe, I don't know, like 7 8 years ago. Um, his music kind of didn't go anywhere. So I hope that now he gets some recognition of what he can do. And the trailer, I wouldn't say he looks like Michael. I mean, he can pull it off. I wouldn't say he is a spitting image of his uncle. He doesn't look like him, but he can act like him, and he sounds like him, and he can move like him. And I think that's way more important. And I think he's doing it. And I'm excited to see what storyline they carry. Like the a complete unknown, Bob Dylan was a temporary storyline of his career. It wasn't a career spanning movie. It was a portion of it, which was cool. And I wonder what Michael's gonna do. Are they going to where they're you in the trailer it does show kind of like the Jackson 5 era and kind of him leaning into wanting to do solo, wanting to do his own thing and separate himself from the group. So yeah, that's my number one. That's my number one most anticipated film of 2026. I will go watch that as soon as I can. Biggest screen, IMAX, whatever's available, and I will probably go see it many times in the theaters. And plus, and kind of like what I was talking about, the movie Goat, is that's a Michael is a movie that I can go see with my daughter Penelope, who also loves Michael Jackson. So that's easy. If I have a chance to go by myself, I can do that. We can all three go as a family, and I can just go. Just me and Penelope can go as well. So, yeah, I can anticipate me seeing that in theaters at least. At least at a minimum 3 times, and then we'll see. We'll see how good it is after that. The last thing I wanted to go over in today's episode is just a quick review of the Oscar nominations and who I think we're gonna try to do some predictions and then try to go back after the Oscars and kind of see which ones we'll kind of look back at this video and see how many of these we got right. Okay. For each, I'm not gonna do every single category, but I'll do some. I'm gonna do two different things. I'm gonna do who I think will win and who I hope wins. Those are two different things. Um, so we're gonna go through a couple of these and then see how many we get right. We'll check back after the Oscars and see how well I did. Again, hoping is different than who I want. Or no, hoping who will win is different than who I think will win. Okay, so I'll kind of we'll go through these. Animated feature film. You've got Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Emil or the Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. Who I think will win, K-pop Demon Hunters. Who I hope will win is Elio. Just to keep it in, I don't think they have a chance, but just to keep it in my Disney bubble, I did love Elio. I love that movie. Um, let's go to adapted screenplay. Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Who I think will win, One Battle After Another. Who I hope will win is Begonia. Original screenplay. I love this category because of what it is. I love original screenplay. Blue Moon. It Was Just an Accident. Marty Supreme. Sentimental Value, or Sinners. Who I think will win is Sinners. Who I hope will win is Marty Supreme. But I'm not mad at all. If Sinners wins this, it's so deserved. Sinners will win original screenplay. That one they should win. But I hope Marty Supreme wins just because that was my favorite movie of the year. Um, Actor in a supporting role. Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another. Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein. Delroy Lindo, Sinners. Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value, who I think will win. That's tough. The only one I didn't see here was Sentimental Value. I still have to see that one. I haven't seen that one. Who I think will win. Let's go Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Who I hope will win is Benicio del Toro, One Battle After. I loved his character. That was my favorite character of the movie. Actress in a leading role. Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Kate Hudson, Song Song Blue. Renate Rensve, Sentimental Value. Emma Stone, Begonia. Who I think will win, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. Who I hope will win is Emma Stone for Begonia. Begonia needs some credit. That movie was awesome. Actor in the leading role, Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme. Leo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. Who I think will win, I'm going to say Michael B. Jordan on this one because he's playing two characters. He's playing the two twin brothers. So I'm going to say Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Who I hope will win is Timothy Chalamet. If Timothy Chalamet wins a leading role, that would be crazy. If he beats out Leo, Ethan Hawke, Michael B. Jordan, and Wagner Moura, if he ends up on top of this category, that's crazy. So I hope he wins, but I think Michael B. Jordan will win. I'm not gonna do director. Well, let's end with Best Picture. Let's do Best Picture. Best Picture, you've got Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Who I think will win, is man, that's tough. I'm between three. There's three that are on top of my list. Who I hope will win is Marty Supreme. Again, kind of like the leading role. If Marty Supreme wins Best Picture, that's insane. That's awesome. I would love that. I hope Marty Supreme wins. This is my favorite movie of last year. Who I think will win, I'm gonna say I think Sinners will win. I think Sinners is gonna win. Um, Yeah, it's cool that F1. I mean, I don't think F1 has a chance. I think it's cool that, I mean, that's just for them to be nominated for Best Picture is awesome. That movie was awesome. You know, if you look at kind of what all these movies are like, and then you get F1 in there, which is like a sports movie kind of. It's cool that they, they did such a good job with it. Um, Obviously, I would love Begonia to win too. If Marty Supreme didn't win, I would love for Begonia to win, but I don't think they have a chance. I think it'll be Sinners or One Battle After Another, and for some reason I just think Sinners is gonna win Best Picture, which again it would be well deserved if they did win it. But okay, that's gonna wrap up episode 2 of Cinema House. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of the topics that we covered today. I hope you guys watched this video. If you liked it, there'll be more to come. I've got a soccer podcast. I've got my vlogs. Yeah, thank you guys for watching Cinema House. Thank you guys for watching Segovia World. See you guys in the next one.